In Cuba, Jews make up a very small percentage of the population, but despite their minority status, leaders of the Jewish community in the isolated island nation say they feel at home. Annenberg Media's Eytan Wallace recently traveled to Cuba and got to know the tight-knit group.
Welcome to Cuba, a country known for its beautiful beaches, for its 1950s American-made cars, and of course for its socialist communist government. But one thing that Cuba is probably not known for is its Jewish community. Only about 1,500 known Jews live in Cuba, 1,000 of which right here in Havana, many of whom belong to this synagogue behind me, the Sephardic Jewish Community Center, or in Spanish, Central Sephardi.
Established in 1954, to this day it remains a home to many Jews. MAYRA LEVY is the president of this Jewish community. It is a community that has all of the components of a community in day-to-day life. It is a wonderful community and it is alive and well. Cuba was once home to roughly 20,000 Jews, but most of whom have since left and only about 1,500 remain.
To put that into perspective, there are more Jews who belong to this Los Angeles synagogue, Sinai Temple, than there are in all of Cuba.
The synagogue also provides its members weekly Sabbath services, and Goldstein helps lead them.
But the synagogue offers more than just worship services for its members. For instance, Hebrew classes are offered here weekly, and the one right behind me is a yoga course.
However, even with all of the day-to-day events that take place at the synagogue, it still faces many challenges. One of the major difficulties is that the members of the community are getting older. And this is not just a problem in the Cuban Jewish community, as it is also one in the greater Cuban community. And we are suffering from the loss of our young members and families because of economic problems, and as a result, they are moving to Israel. In Israel, they find better conditions. That is one of the biggest threats facing our community.
Now, besides the Sephardic Jewish Community Center, there are also other synagogues in Havana, including this one, Congregation Beth Shalom, Cuba's oldest and largest synagogue.
We have a big sanctuary.
ADELA DWORIN is the president of Congregation Beth Shalom.
Lay people in the community are conducting the services, especially young people are conducting the services.
And one of this synagogue's top priorities is the health of its community members. One such way the synagogue ensures the health for all of its members is by running a community pharmacy.
In Cuba, healthcare is very nice, but we see lack of medicines. So we open a community pharmacy, which is run by medical doctors from the community. They do voluntary work, and they deliver the medicines to Jews and non-Jews completely free.
And when asked the question if anti-Semitism exists in Cuba?
Is there anti-Semitism in Cuba?
No. Absolutamente no.
No, absolutely not. It has never existed and it doesn't exist today, and we hope that it will never exist in the future.
We feel very safe in this country. That's why we stay here.
We as Jews in Cuba are not second-class citizens. We are not persecuted.
In fact, the president of Congregation Beth Shalom even goes as far as to say that the Jews have good relations with the Cuban government.
I was so lucky. I was one of the 6 invited to meet with the president. I have seen him 40 years on TV, and that night I was sitting so close to him. And we invited him to come to Hanukkah, and he attended the Hanukkah party, and he was very kind to the Jews in general. He made 2 important statements. I will never deny the Holocaust, and I will never deny the existence of the State of Israel. You can sympathize or not with his policy, but it's very important for the Jews in general to know that he's one of the most important leaders of the 20th century, that he made these kind of statements.
And when it comes to the future, Cuban Jews are optimistic and have many hopes. Health, the well-being of the community, that we will be able to grow, to maintain ourselves. And a message to the Jews in the United States.
Los judíos somos judíos en todas partes del mundo.
There are Jews in all parts of the world, and even though we are distant, we always feel united in solidarity, and we are thankful for the help we have received from the Jews in the United States. We ask that they will continue to support us in the future.
Esta ayuda se mantenga, nos apoyen.
Now, while Jews and many others in Cuba continue to face hardships, they tell me they couldn't be any happier here, and they continue to hope for a better future. In Havana, Cuba, I'm Eytan Wallace.